Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM1, October 9th, 2020. Before we begin, let's ask this question. Do you know how many years in math you need to pass in high school to graduate? The correct answer is 3 years, which means that you need to pass IM1, IM2, and IM3. You need to pass all the way to IM3. And by pass, this is just to pass high school. If you're planning on going to college, it will be better if you did more than just pass IM3. Now, if you don't pass IM1, you are going to repeat IM1 next year. So unlike middle school, where not much consequences to failing a class, in high school, if you fail a class, you not only not get the credit for the year of work that you put in, but you also need to repeat that IM1. That means if you're a freshman, you will be repeating the class with other freshmen next year when you are a sophomore. And I've also had some students who actually fail IM1 for 2 years. That means they're doing it for the 3rd year. So make sure you take this seriously. And some of the facts, only you can decide that you want to take action. Okay? And there are many ways to help. Many ways help is available even in distance learning. And it will still take hard work. So nothing good in life will happen without hard work. So if you're somehow hoping to cruise by IM1, it's not going to happen. IM1 is probably one of the hardest class to pass. It's not because the work is so tough, but it's that the bar is now higher. Unlike in the middle school where, if you didn't do well in math, you just move on to the next level, whether you are ready or not. Well, that is no longer going to be the case. So please put in some serious thought about your future. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so now let's get back into math. Okay, which of the following are negative? Okay, if you have these problems, I have 4 different problems. Which of these, the answer will be negative? So please pause the video and see if you can solve it. Okay, let's look at each one of them. Okay, so common mistake is students think 3 to the power of -1 is -3. Not true. Okay, what does 3 to the power of -1 mean? 3 is being multiplied to itself -1 times. That is different to -1 is being multiplied to 3. Okay, so remember, how do I get rid of this negative exponent? You put it as 1 over. Okay, and then it just becomes 3 to the power of whatever the exponent it is. So it's 3 to the power of 1. 3 to the power of 1 is really just same as 3. So the correct answer is 1/3. What about the second one? -2 to the power of 2. This is really same as saying -1 is being multiplied to 2 to the power of 2. This negative sign means -1 is being multiplied to 2 to the power of 2. And by the order of operation, we need to evaluate the exponents first. Okay? So 2 squared is 4. 4 times -1 is -4. So yes, this one, the answer is negative. Okay, what about the rest? Okay, C, it says -3 all squared. Remember, when you have parentheses being squared, that means whatever is in the parentheses is multiplied to itself however many times is written here. So -3 is being multiplied to itself 2 times. That's what it means. What's -3 times -3? The answer is going to be positive because negative times negative is going to be positive. 3 times 3 is 9. So the correct answer is +9. So this is not negative. What about this? -x when x is -2. So remember, when you are trying to evaluate, replace that variable with parentheses. After you've done that, whatever the x value is, you can replace it with the value that you know. So it's really asking you negative of negative 2, negative of negative 2. When you see two negatives together, it becomes positive, positive. So that becomes positive 2. So the only answer that is negative is this one. Okay? So please do not get them confused. Alright, so now let's do some warm-up. Simplify the exponent expressions. So please pause the video and complete these problems. Let's go over it together. 3 to the power of 0. 3 to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0, does not matter whether it's 3 or any other number, is always going to be 1. And then to that, what is being multiplied is 3 squared. Okay, what's 3 squared? That just means 3 times 3. 3 being multiplied to itself 2 times. 1 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 1 is 9. So the correct answer is 9. What about this? 2n to the power of 0 all raised to the power of 2. Well, you want to simplify inside the parentheses whenever possible. Okay? 2n to the power of 0 really is saying 2 times n to the power of 0. And then whatever that is, it's being squared. And inside the parentheses is 2 times, what's n to the power of 0? Anything to the power of 0, whether it's a variable or a number, is just always going to be 1. So that's 2 times 1 in the parentheses, and that is being squared from here. 2 times 1 is just 2. This is really same as 2 squared. And 2 squared is just 4. So that's my final answer. Now this one is, okay, when you see this, just separate it as 4x. 4x means 4 times x. And that x has this negative 2 exponent, okay? Make sure that you remember that exponent just belongs to the number right before or the variable right before, unless there is a parenthesis like so. If there is a parenthesis, that exponent belongs to the whole thing. But without the parenthesis, the exponent just belongs to the variable right in front or the number right in front. Just like this variable, the exponent 2 belongs just to the 3, nothing else. So then, I know 4 is being multiplied to, what's x to the power of negative 2? When you have negative exponent, remember that is same as 1 over whatever the base is the same, and the number is the number without the negative sign. So you're multiplying 4 times 1 over 4, 1 over x squared. Remember, 4 is same as 4 over 1. So when you're multiplying fractions, you just multiply across like so, 4 with 1, and 1 times x squared, and you're left with 4 over x squared. Okay? And then you have 4x to the power of negative 2. Now, can we simplify what's inside the parentheses anymore? 4 and x, they are unlike to each other. 4 is a number, x is a variable. So we can't simplify this anymore. But we can deal with this negative exponent. What does this, how can I get rid of this negative exponent? I just need to turn that as 1 over, and that just got rid of this negative sign here, but everything else stays the same. Okay, and everything else is 4x, and that includes the parenthesis, and we still have the squared because that's the exponent, and that's 1 over 4x squared. 4x squared means 4x is being multiplied to itself 2 times. So this is same as 1 over 4 times 4 is 16. X times x is same as x squared. So that's my final answer. Okay. All right. Then quick announcement, there will be a quiz number 4 next class. That's going to be on negative and zero exponents, as well as the linear relationship, tile patterns, recognizing growth and starting value from pattern diagram and table and graph. So make sure you completely understand today's lesson. And then slope and y-intercept going back and forth from graph. So you should be reviewing the last 3 homework. So the homework that was due today, the homework that was due last lesson, and the previous lesson, you should be making sure that you understand those completely. Goal for the day, we are going to be modeling linear situations using equations, and we're going to be going back and forth between equations and graph. So let's go back to tile growth. Okay, so when you're given this graph, then what did we do? We figured out, okay, if I just copy this figure 1 to figure 2, what was added was this 4. If I just copied figure 2 to figure 3, what was added was pretty clear. The 4 was added. Then I can say for sure that figure 1 probably had the, I can say for sure, I can just draw the figure 3 for figure 4 and then plus add the 4 more. And that will be what figure 4 looks like. And I can also figure out what figure 1 looked like. And I know that 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom was added, which makes me easily figure out what figure 0 should look like. So you should be able to do all of this. And to come up with equation, tile count in figure 4, how did we figure that out? Well, from figure 0, okay, we grew 4 tiles each figure. So going from figure 0 to figure 1, we added 4, and then another 4, so 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times. So we added 4 times to get to figure 4. So to get to figure 3, we added 4 tiles 3 times. Okay, so the number of tiles in figure 3 is 4 times 3 plus however many we started off with. Okay, so 4 times 3 plus however many we started off with, and that works out to be 14. And if you count the tiles, that's actually correct. It's 14 tiles. And now if you're trying to figure out how many tile count in figure 200, instead of figure number 3, we can replace the 3 with 200 and the tile figure 3 with again 200. And so the expression becomes for 200th figure is 4 times not 3 but 4 times 200 plus 2. So 4 times 200 is 800, and 800 plus 2 is 802 tiles. Okay, if you were to come up with, use a variable, number of tiles in figure X, if you do not know what the figure number is, we can use a variable. Just the way we replaced it with 200 for the figure 200, we can replace all the times that we change the 200, we can change that with X. That just becomes 4X. So 4 times X plus 2, and that's our equation. So the equation becomes the number of tiles is 4x plus 2. So this is the equation to model how number of tiles, or the y, depends on the figure number x. Now, format of equation of linear relations. When a situation is linear, okay, linear should be making you think about a line. So when you graph it, it's a straight line. Then its equation is in the format of y is equal to mx plus b, where different parts mean different things. M is the slope. Remember how you figure out what the slope is from graph? And slope also represents the growth rate. So in the tile figure, we can represent it as growth rate or rate of change of situations. Okay, and B is the y-intercept, or it also represents the starting value. That means the figure 0 number of tiles, or the initial value of a situation, just like the figure 0 number of tiles. X is the input quantity, and then finally Y is the output quantity. Okay, please pause the video and copy this down, and I will continue in the next lesson recording.